Welcome everybody to the webinar, and I have today with me Trish Walker, and we're going to talk to Trish about her modality, what she teaches, and the impact that she has on people's lives. Now, she has quite a credential list, so I have to read that list out to you. So first off, we're talking about the Mind and Body Transformation Program. And I want to talk to you about what I really love about Chris's work, her personality, what she brings to people's lives, the impact that she makes. And I would say that Trish brings some very, very important knowledge, training, learning, and techniques to people to teach people like you and I how we can live long and live very, very well. And Trish and her modality really gets to the core of wellness. And that's what I really like about this discussion that I'm having with Trish today. In the meantime, Trish is a qualified nurse. She's worked and done her time at the Glasgow Infirmary in Scotland. She then worked in the Channel Islands, and she's worked in Brisbane in St Andrew's War Memorial. She is also an internationally recognized food and nutrition coach, and she's a diet and fitness, ran a diet and fitness club, Trish, as well, back home, and you had 300 women a week coming through that. So you're very well experienced and versed in what it is that you do. You don't just have a certificate. You've also got the intellectual knowledge and the practical knowledge application as well, having been through so many different people that you must have met all different types of personalities and so on and so forward. So how did you end up going from a nurse and watching people on tables getting cut open and healing them to really helping them avoid going on the table to get cut open? How did that transformation take place? How are you now building this brilliant program that you've built that we're going to talk about today?
Thank you, Ray, and hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Yes, it has been quite a journey. When you think about it, I started my nursing career in 1984, and here we are in 2023. So yes, I've always been into health and wellness and diet and fitness and empowering ladies to live their best life. But through my years of experience, as you say, I did have my diet and fitness business back home and seen about 300 ladies a week. I also was a qualified aerobics instructor and a personal trainer. So over the years, and with gaining more and more experience, I have brought this program now to empower ladies, and we start at the root, the core root, and that is our mindsets and what stops us from achieving our goals. So yes, it has been quite a journey, but I feel now with my experience, I can encapsulate everything into this program that empowers ladies to live their best lives.
So we talked a bit about that, and what I really liked was you said, I help people get their head around your brain for the sake of your health. So just go in there for a moment, a little bit, and then we'll chat then about addictions to food and why people have addictions to food. But what exactly do you mean, by that? Get your head around your brain for the sake of your health.
Well, probably some ladies, if they're listening to this, they may have in the past went on a health and wellness campaign or, wanted to lose weight. They're all motivated at the beginning. And then 3 weeks down the line, they say, oh, I can't be bothered. What's the point of that? I'll only fail again. So what's the point of even trying? So my program gives them the tools to actually master and change that self-talk inside. And that's through visualization, naming their brain, all different tools. So they need to get the foundations correct first.
And what I also like about your program, which I think makes it really brilliant, is accountability. I remember when I was going through my life apprenticeship, when I was about, just before I was 20, and going through that, the person that brought me through that life-changing program, which wasn't even a program, by the way, it was just me being mentored by this particular guy for like quite a few years, is that it was extremely difficult to go from my old habitual self into this new habit that he wanted me to produce and to generate and to embed into my character. And that transformation of going from the old me to the new me, like anybody going from the old them to the new them, is extremely difficult, trying to climb that fence, get over that wall. what he done for me was he kept me accountable. So there was always discussions, talks, meetings, chats, visits. It just went on and on. And I really like the fact that you've really nailed that with your course. You've made your course a piece of brilliance with some great intellectual and practical tools and knowledge. But you've also recognized, because you've worked with so many hundreds of people through the years, that if you leave them alone, that they're just going to wander back over the wall again. They're going to sneak back over that fence at nighttime and try and get away from themselves and escape from themselves, when all they're doing is just continuing to live with themselves. And what you've done is you've created in your course that we'll talk about in a moment, this high level of accountability. I really like that. That's important, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's part of our program, is we have weekly group coaching sessions. So it keeps the ladies accountable. And the feedback that I get is they just love that, because they know that that makes them accountable for the week ahead. And then we have the discussion the week after, how the week went and where they could have changed options and things like that. So it's keeping them accountable. So that's part of the program that the ladies love.
And the benefit of health and nutrition. So nutrition is really the key. And that's what we're bringing, Trish, to all you guys as you're watching this, sitting wherever you are, that, nutrition is the key. And the question that I hear a lot is, I overeat. Why do I overeat? Well, we overeat because, when we grew up, Trish, we had our childhood traumas. Even if we had a great life, there was still something that didn't sit quite well. And then, there's a part of the brain that captures that trauma. And the trauma might just be your teacher said to you, you're not pretty enough. Or your teacher said to you, you're stupid, or whatever. And that can leave a long-term impression in the brain. And those interactions are literally wired in that moment of that interaction, when we're 6 years of age, 10 years of age, 20 years of age, wired into the brain as an impression. And that impression then stays there. And what that impression does is it switches off the normal flow of healthy chemicals that we need to feel excited, to feel good about ourselves. So it starts to slow down the production of those chemicals like oxytocin, dopamine, even adrenaline and so on, just the chemicals that we need to feel good about ourselves. So what people have done is, because of those events and experiences, they subconsciously deactivate that brain center that instructs the endocrine system to produce those chemicals that we need. Then subconsciously they can't activate them because the teacher switched them off, or the mom or dad switched them off, or the current ex-partner switched them off. What they got to do is, the body needs that fix. So what does it do? It gets it from food. And in your program, I know that you talk about the mind in the gut, the mind in the body, the mind in the brain. And walk us through that a little bit, because I think that's your standout, Trish. There's 1,000 nutrition gurus out there. There's probably more. There's probably 1 million of them. And of those 1 million of them, I ask myself coming into these sessions, why am I talking to this particular person when there's so many of you out there, no matter what modality that I'm talking to about? And you have to have your standout. That's why we're talking. You have to have your uniqueness, and your uniqueness is definitely the mind aspect of your program. Tell us a bit about it.
Yep. So you're completely right about what you said at the beginning. People have had past experiences in their life, so their self-worth, their self-esteem, is very low. So they have to get those chemicals from another area, and that comes from food. And obviously, sugar is a big part of that, because that increases your dopamine levels. But what happens is, sugar then, when you're eating sugar, the hidden sugars, and you're getting dopamine, what eventually happens, the more and more sugar that you eat, your dopamine receptors then diminish. So to get that feeling of euphoria and, confidence, whatever, then you have to keep eating more sugar. So this is how the brain reacts. And then this is how us as a society are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So my program addresses that, and I'm quite a visual person, and in one of the modules I'll speak to the ladies about hidden sugars, and it's really just like putting teaspoonfuls of sugar in your mouth. to get that feeling.
And, you know, the language that you and I both speak is, you know, you have this other process called naming your brain. And that really intrigued me. Where did
Yeah.
you get that from? What's that about?
Yeah, so it's a simple tool, but a very, very strong tool because we have what we call our fixed mindset and our growth mindset. So we're self-talk. So when I said earlier, oh, don't bother, what's the point of trying again, starting a health and wellness journey? You'll only fail again. So what's the point of doing that? That's our fixed mindset. So in my program at the beginning, we name our brains. So, for example, you have a name for your fixed mindset and you have a name for your growth mindset. So, for example, if your name was Susan, for your fixed mindset, you might have stuck Susan, okay? And then your growth mindset is Starlight Susan, and they have a battle out in their heads. When you hear stuck Susan starting, then you have to get Starlight Susan to be louder. So it gets the ladies to be mindful of their self-talk. And what they're actually doing there is, it's scientifically proven, what they're actually doing there is they're actually starting to make neural pathways, connecting new neural pathways for their thinking. So it's just a simple tool, but a very, very good tool that when ladies are going through this journey, they hear themselves saying something, oh, I can't do that. What's the point of doing that? Then that's stuck Sandra or stuck Susan. And then you've got Starlight Susan or Sandra coming in and saying, no, we can do this. But what you're actually doing deeper down is changing your neural pathways, changing your thinking.
And I think that adds to the effectiveness of your training, Trish, and what you do. And because, if somebody said to me, how did I start my journey? How did my transformation go? How did I transform from what I was to what I wanted to be? And what I had to do was I would speak to my inner voice, to my ego. And my ego would say things to me like, this guy that you're hanging out with, who was my mentor, you don't fit with him. You look weird. You're out of place. Go back to your old job. You'll never make this work. It'll never work for you. You're only a sparky. Go back to being that, all that. And what I used to do was, because there was no books to read, I used to talk back to my critic. And I used to say, I'm not listening to you anymore. No, you're wrong in that one. And all we're doing is, like you and your program, you're rewiring people's brains. And I really like that, because when there was no book to do all of this work, and I had to make it up myself, that's the first chapter of my book. How do you change? Speak back to yourself, speak to your brain, and rewire a new brain. I really love it. I think that is a piece of brilliance. And before I came in here with you today, we went online and just looked at other nutritional courses and so on and so forth. And I know that we've been working together for a while, but I wanted to make sure that you're bringing something different and unique to the other nutritional specialists out there and so on. I like the fact that you've worked for many years with hundreds of people doing this in person. I love that. And the fact that you're getting to the core of the cause, and the fact that you're activating and you're introducing neuroplasticity, the wiring of a human brain. That means that your program leaves nothing out. There's no stone unturned in your training. And I think that's a piece of brilliance. Now tell us, what type of people do you work with? Who is a fit for this program, before I bring you in and we do some visualizing and walk them through this program you've built?
Yeah, so basically it's for ladies who really want to take charge and take control back of their health and wellness. It may be that they want to go on a weight loss journey, or it might be that they want to make better lifestyle choices, just with their food and nutrition or exercise. But it's for ladies who really want to take control back, but when it happens, and then the motivation goes, where my program sets a solid foundation at the beginning, so that they don't have that fear of failure, that they have the tools then to be able to turn that story around and live a life of health and wellness and be healthy inside.
Now, I'm very excited to go through your demo and walk us through the visualization of your app online. Now, I know your course goes like this. You've put your years of experience together based on what works and what doesn't work. You've compressed and combined it all down into a program. The program is a 6-month program with 10 weekly modules at the start, and then weekly catch-ups 4 to 6 months. And also it starts off, which I think is brilliant, with a one-on-one session with you to speak to each individual about their particular needs, their particular mind, what is broken in that mind, to tell that mind that it needs this particular type of food that it keeps eating, and for you to walk through all of that. So I think you've also not only nailed it in your program, but in the approach and the mechanics of your program, to have a 6-month course with weekly accountability and catch up, with 10 weeks of modules at the start to get everybody started, and the app, the full access to the app that you're going to show us as well, and the initial consultation with you. I think it's brilliant. Show us the app.
Yep, sure. So let me just share my screen with you. So this is the app here. Okay, and this is just the discovery page here. So the ladies can have a look through that, and that just gives them a breakdown of the program. So that's
this is obviously all on a phone, and once you're in the program, you can download this app and you're in, and this is what you're going to be seeing.
Yep. So this is my app, Lotus Wellness app. So that just basically gives you a rundown of the program. There's some testimonials in there from ladies as well, some questions and answers. So that's all on the discovery page. They can have a look in there. Then on the next section of the app, you've got the Learn section, and this is where the actual programs are. So this one here, this is the one that we're speaking about now, the Mind and Body Transformation Program. So you just click on that and go in there, and that gives you all the modules there. Okay. And then obviously in the next section of the app, and this is really good, Ray, the community section. So again, this is where the ladies can send me direct messages, or I can send them messages. There's a word of the week in there. So they go in there every Monday and they'll see the word of the week, which hopefully inspires them for the following week ongoing. And then the next section is the tracking section, and this is where the accountability comes in. So they can track their meditation, which we do go into in the second week of the modules, why it's important to meditate, and we go into that deeper in the second week of the program. You've got your exercise tracking here, and also your nutrition tracking here. So it keeps the ladies accountable. They also get push notifications. So if they haven't tracked for a few days, then they'll get a push notification from me, just reminding them about consistency and the importance of that.
Yeah. And again, it's back to the brilliance of accountability. It is so, so important to people who really do want to take control of their health and control of what they eat. And, to really inspire people, my studies through the years show this. If we are on a bad diet and our skin is not clear externally, or our body is not looking optimal externally, what's happening on the outside, you better be aware that it's absolutely happening on the inside, and you don't want a bad inside. And the body is so adaptable that really when the brain and mind changes, the body can adapt to that change as well. How much is your course all up? And I will then show everybody how they can find you.
Yes, so the course for the 6 months program, which you've went through, obviously, Ray, is $575. And that's including weekly group coaching sessions as well.
Very good. Now, to find Trish, you can go to the Think and Grow Education website, and then you'll find Trained Practitioners, which is the hub. And this is the hub. And you just scroll down. And as you scroll down, then you'll connect then with Trish. You'll find Trish's page in here. You'll just connect with Trish, and you just go to Trained Practitioners on Think and Grow Education. And when you do, then you just do your enrollment. And I know Trish also has payment options in there as well. And that's it. It's for people who are really serious about being held accountable. That is the goal here. The goal is being held accountable. And the beauty and the intellect of the course is the fact that excuse me, I lost my voice, is the fact that it deals with the core reason, the core cause. And when you get to the cause, you can fix the problem. But I think a lot of courses don't get to the cause of it. And that's why people give up, because they haven't sorted out the initial problem. And I love that about what you're doing and about your course.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So, Trish, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. It's very effective. It's very self-explanatory. And it is the most impacting of all things that we can do, is to really, really look after our body. Because when we look after our body, we also look after our mind. And as you can see, Trish's course looks after the mind and the body, which makes it a piece of brilliance. And at Think and Grow Education, there are many different practitioners that we bring you, and we always strive to bring you people that are real, that are authentic, that are wholesome, that are hearty. That is the Think and Grow Education brand. And I can assure you that Trish fits exactly into that. Trish, I'm finished for today. If there's anything else that you want to say.
No, wonderful, Ray. Thank you. And as I say, the ladies can contact me through that landing page, and I will have a chat with them and then put them straight onto the program.
Great. Thank you for being here, Trish.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.